This is Atari, the Atari 8-bit podcast.
This is Antic, the Atari 8-bit podcast. I'm Kay Savitz. Rik Dickinson is the founder of Encore Video Productions, a company that rented Atari 8-bit computers to hotels for use as character generators. The computers would show information about the hotel on Channel 2 of guests' televisions. This was part of a service that Encore provided to provide in-room movies that ran off of videotapes. The tape machines ran on a timer, and when the movie ended, the video feed switched back to the text information displayed by the Atari. This interview took place on April 20th, 2020.
Encore Video Productions is in its 41st year. When we started out, the idea was to make how-to videos back in 1980. And strangely, we haven't done one yet, but we still are around. One of our services was, we're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so there's like 50,000 motel rooms. And we decided to put in-room movies into the hotels. But the other people that have been doing that around the country, that's all they do is run the movies. We made it easier to sell to the hotels by offering them with the package a character generator. And at the time, character generators for the prosumer were very, very basic and somewhat expensive until somebody came up with a cartridge for an Atari. The Atari 800, the Atari the 400, I believe it was called,
Yeah.
And then the 800 and then the 130 and so on and so forth. And it was a neat little cartridge you put in the machine. Well, we offered it to the hotels because that way they can market what they have to offer in each hotel or their sister hotels, cross-referencing. They use it for the pool rules. They use it for the restaurant menus, specials on the seasonal room rates. They really, really liked it. And we knew that because as soon as one, they got a new person in, or they may have had a little trouble with one, we get the call real quick to come out and help them. The beauty of the system was the Atari computers were low priced and they were plentiful. And the cartridge that did that was called the InfoGen 7000. It would play a page, and you could do art on it, basic logos. You can even get time and temperature option, which was all part of the through the Atari system. Worked pretty well. We put them in quite a few hotels in the Myrtle Beach market, but we also in Homestead and Orange Springs, Virginia, and in some of the Radissons up near Put-in Bay, Cedar Point, and everybody seemed to enjoy the option of marketing while in between watching second-run movies in their room. The way we paid for it, the way we got paid, we had each hotel raise the room rate $1. So at the end of the month, we'd go collect our money, and depending on the amount of occupancy they had, obviously in Myrtle Beach, it's 100%. So it works out pretty well for, $1 a day per room, and some of our hotels 200 and 300 rooms. So it seemed to work real well. Then HBO decided to offer it on Channel 2, which is where we put our system usually, and they charged 15 cents a room. Obviously, HBO took over and made it kind of tough on us.
Sure.
Since then, we got a couple of corporate things we've done. South Carolina Hall of Fame system, but it runs on Commodores, not Ataris. But it's been fun. Made some money, and then we were basically in business in production more than we were character generating or even editing. But since then, we've been all over the world and shot all kinds of projects that you can imagine. Everything from Africa to Seattle and Boeing to DuPont. It's kept us pretty busy.
Wow. Very cool. I would like to know more about how the movie thing worked. You told me briefly yesterday. When a person wanted to watch a movie, how did that happen? And then how did it switch to the Atari when the movie was over?
Yeah, it's pretty much a little hardware package. At the time, we were running 3/4-inch videos. We had contracts with the studios for the movies to be able to present them. We had to pay them a little bit. But 3/4-inch video machine on a timer, regularly scheduled movie time, so the rooms didn't have control over it. They'd run when the timer would run. When the movie ended, it hit a relay and switched the video feed from the movie to the Atari with whatever background they wanted. They could have, the Weather Channel, audio, they could have music, radio station, whatever they liked, or a message from the front desk. They used it for marketing also. A small relay we built to determine when the tape goes in the rewind, it switches to the Atari. Then obviously when the timer strikes the machine again, it switches back. Pretty basic stuff. We had to clean a channel. At the time we used channel 2 a lot because that was designated on the cable systems in most places as HBO, and the commercial people didn't use it, but we still had to clean it. So we used these rather expensive channel droppers from microwave filters, about $900 a piece to really clean it properly. So when we re-inject through a modulator back into the cable with channel 2, our channel 2, it looked real well. It looked very good. The movies looked good, and the character generation worked perfect with the Atari. Atari was pretty good in the early stages of the fonts and everything. I always thought they did a good job for the price.
Mm-hmm. So how many hotels do you think this was running in?
We had 12 in Myrtle Beach and 4 others in different parts of the country. Mm-hmm. We were up to about 6,000 rooms, I believe.
Wow.
This has been so long that it's hard to remember.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's easy to do in this town, but other towns, we got tons of hotels there. And we were actually signing contracts with more hotels when HBO came in and kind of killed it. There were some of the hotels says, okay, we're going to have to go with HBO now, but can you leave the character generator? So we had a package there that they could use in it full time on a channel. We usually left it on the same channel, but they found that it was profitable. Some even sold commercials outside the hotel.
Commercials?
You go to some of their local restaurants that are near the hotel. They'd go to them and say, for this amount of dollars, I'll let you be on my character generator. And that worked. Helped pay. I think we only charged like $50 a month to let it sit there and run. Everything was paid for by then.
Did the hotel do an initial outlay of cash for the hardware, or was it strictly based on the per night, per room?
We had a real basic hardware fee, but it was practically nothing. I don't even remember exactly how much it was. But no, it was just $1 a room. And I think what I did was I had the CG as an option. So the movies were, obviously $1 a day per room. But then if you wanted character generator, it would be, I think it was $50 at that time, $50 a month. I had the CG. If they were a big enough hotel, we just threw it in.
Neat. So, but you didn't develop the hardware that was created by another company, right? The special, the software and the hardware to do the same.
Yeah, it's simply a drop-in cartridge at Infogen. I don't know if they're still around or not. I have quite a few of the cartridges still that make for nice little CG information channels out of the back of the Atari. They have to modulate it and put it on the channel.
Sure.
Or unless you're wired for HDMI or composite video, then it's straight out of the Atari to whatever monitors you want to put it on. For waiting rooms, for bars, for restaurants, it still would work real well. Instead of letting the TV sit there with nothing going on, you run some local ads, some information.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
It worked out real well.
Neat. You said it did time and temperature. I understand how time works on the Atari. How did temperature work? Was there an add-on hardware gadget to?
Yeah, actually, I think it was that Atari or Infogen. I think it was an Atari feature, a small remote thermometer that plugged into the Atari, and then Infogen had a space for it on their screen for the current temperature.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very local. Yeah, worked out. I wonder if anybody's doing that now with the Infogen or the Ataris.
I don't know.
Obviously,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure most hotels could do it with a PC or a Mac, with off-the-shelf hardware now. But
yeah,
there's got to be a couple of grumpy old guys who like to use their Atari and do it that way.
Yeah, sure. Even you can get them for practically nothing. Cartridges are available.
Sure.
I just thinking of the guy with a garage that has a waiting room or something like that. If they were smart, they'd use that monitor instead of running CNN into there. They'd have a timer and let the information pop in and out.
Right. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, we went on vacation. I think it was in San Diego at the Hotel Intercontinental, and I know that wasn't where you were doing your work, but there was a TV screens up with information that was clearly running on an Atari. And as a kid who loved Atari, it was just fascinating to me that somewhere in the basement or whatever there was a machine churning out the information for hotel people.
Yeah, we did a lot of shows at the Intercontinental. What years was that? I may have been familiar.
I would have to ask my mom, but we'll say 86 through 89, somewhere in there.
I was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
really?
We worked for IBM recognition events, and that was one of our hotels. We did a lot of shows, and so I probably saw it and recognized it too.
Amazing.
I don't know who was doing the marketing for Infogen, but they probably could have done a better job. For us, it wasn't hard to sell. The movies, most people are getting used to seeing movies in their room. I always thought it was kind of weird, people go on vacation and they go in their room and watch TV. But that's something the hotel promoted and seemed to attract customers.
Right. So tell me what you did with the Commodore 64. You said it. Please repeat how you used that.
Commodore 64, there were 1200s, the Omegas. Yeah, Omegas. We produced all the programming and production for the South Carolina Hall of Fame. It's a giant kiosk in Myrtle Beach at the convention center, and had 4 screens, and you call up a screen that's famous South Carolinians, and you touch screens, and you touch the person, and a 3-minute video started playing their accomplishments. And the original system we put in was with the Commodores, which were great.
Okay.
The graphics, on Commodores look good. I've got are the hard drives? I've got the hard drives for the Ataris. No, the floppy drives. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5-inch floppies. What do we use those for? Do you remember?
Okay, so on your system, based on the system that I have of yours, there was a cartridge that actually ran the CG software, but then when the client stored their information about whatever was going on in the hotel, that information was saved to the floppy disk. So they didn't lose it next time they started up the computer. And I think there was a variety of other software on the floppy disk. We managed to the system that I have of yours came with some disks, and we managed to get all the data, that software off there, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you have a cart? Did I send a cartridge for
okay. Well, I honestly don't know how I got the machine. So in 2014, I said I needed an Atari for a project. I went down to the basement. I grabbed this machine that was your machine. It says Encore Video Productions on it. And I powered it on and was surprised to discover that it was running information display system. I didn't know at the time how I got this machine, and I still don't know. So it just came into my life somehow. So and so that anyway, and then I posted a video to YouTube that happened to be using that machine, and somehow you saw it and recognized your Encore Video Productions logo on the computer that was in the video. So I don't know.
That's spotted the sticker on the machine itself.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, I don't have a lot of answers as to why I have this machine or how it got from you ultimately to me, but here it is. Yeah. Anyway, and it came with the cartridge, which is done in a weird way. It's not,
it did.
Yeah, it's not a standard cartridge. It's actually kind of it replaces the one of the memory boards, and then it came with some floppy disks. So yeah, but its origin I don't really know.
And a floppy disk drive and cable? It
did not come with a floppy disk drive, although I have those. So those are pretty common. What else should I ask you about that time, about that project? That what haven't you told me yet?
I think we covered a pretty simple system. I put a pile of them, I guess. Where did I put them? And I got several phone calls. There's a lot of people that want Ataris. Mm-hmm. Kind of surprised me. And I gave them away just about. I didn't make much on them. That's okay. I was glad to see them reused instead of, otherwise we were cleaning out and they would have ended up in the dumpster.
Sure.
It was a pretty easy program. Wasn't hard for the hoteliers to figure out how to enter data. Some got real creative with it. It's kind of fun to go around and see what they've done with them and trying to do logos and everything. You can tell the people that are really into it had too much time, so they spent a lot of time, composing pages for the thing. They were reliable. You'd never have to mess with them. They sit there and run 24/7. Mm-hmm. Power supplies, everything.
Very
good
cool.
Machines.
Yeah, they're solid.
Yeah, I wonder where they all are now.
Yeah, some are in the hands of people like me, and some are, I'm sure, in the landfill. So.
Yep.
So I mean that's great. Your business sort of. I love it when I talk to Atari people who people who used Atari computers back in the 80s, and then the business has managed to survive 30, 40 years later. That's great.
Yeah, we with the hotels and that money, we pretty much got a foothold for the. We're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, not the production hub of the world.
Yeah.
But we've been fortunate that we have done good work and got great clients over the years. And we always say, come, if you want to do production here, that's always good. Bring your golf clubs, your briefcase, and your swimsuit. And that even helped us on some of the clients. They actually enjoyed coming here to shoot. But most of our work's out of state. Now we specialize in EPKs, electronic press kits, for the motion picture industry. Just up the road is Screen Gem Studios in Wilmington. And we do the bonus material for motion pictures. that you see from time to time. But they're called EPKs, electronic press kits. You get to meet a lot of famous people.
For instance?
Oh boy, I did a list the other day. It's about 6 columns long. Everybody, from Paul Newman to John Travolta to, I mean, over the years, it's been a lot of different movies, a lot of different locations.
That's
the
awesome.
Coen Brothers is always my favorite. We did a movie called Hudsucker Proxy.
Sure.
We were working for HBO for the behind the scenes, and they were great. Coen Brothers. Hudsucker Proxy was the name of the movie. Did well in Europe, not as great here, but Coen Brothers are famous. We had a good time together. You ever have an Atari Video Music?
Yes, I know what that is.
I have one of those.
Cool. Did you just have it for fun, or was it part of the business?
Well, I had it for fun, but it snuck its way into some large screen displays or special conventions that just needed something to be on the screen. I enjoyed the thing. It was pretty simple, but made some interesting patterns and colors.
Mm-hmm.
Line level input from any audio source to video output, and people are always mesmerized by it.
Yeah, that was a fun machine. Neat.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick. This is fascinating, and I appreciate you sharing the story.
Yeah, interesting. After all these years, I enjoyed talking about it also.
If you enjoy these interviews and would like to contribute, make a tax-deductible contribution to the Internet Archive, a nonprofit digital library that has done incredible things to preserve computer history. Make your tax-deductible contribution at archive.org/donate. Thanks.